So you asked me how many men that I see are angry. I said 85%. I would say it's even higher with the father wound, John, because it's just an epidemic fatherlessness in our culture. There are rare exceptions, John, where a man had a father who was present emotionally, physically present. But many of us had a father who was either there physically but not emotionally, right? Or he was absent, right? He was gone. He left our family, or he was there, but he was working. He was out doing his hobbies. He just wasn't there. And if he was at home, he had no idea how to connect and relate to us. And so we have a lot of men who have that father wound, right? They don't know if they've got what it takes. They don't know how to be a father. They don't know how to be a husband. It was never modeled. And so again, they're afraid. I don't know what I'm doing. That feeling that you don't know what you're doing for a man, that's hard. And guess how that manifests itself? Again, anger. But what's under the anger? Fear that I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm a screw up, that I'm not going to be good enough. And when a woman tries to be helpful and tries to coach a man, tell a man that he didn't get this right, here's what he should have done. If they're not careful, what they're doing is saying, see, you're inadequate. You don't know, you don't have what it takes. And a man he's gonna withdraw. He's gonna try harder at first, but then he's gonna withdraw. But then when that disrespect starts to do its work, after a while, anger will come up.
I was going to say it's all really comes back to that disrespect, right? Because all men want to be respected, and when we're not, we get angry. I know. Yeah, I heard the saying one time that anger becomes a hammer, and everything begins to look like a nail. And that was my life. I mean, I was so angry that in this father wound, being abandoned, I was so angry, and there were all these daily reminders of how inadequate I was, that my dad wasn't there. I couldn't fix a toilet or a refrigerator or whatever. And I thought, man, every man should know how to do that. And then I'd go back and be pissed at my dad.
Right. Yeah. Because why didn't you equip me for this? It's, how many men that I meet that they're afraid they will never sign up to go to the men's fishing retreat or the fishing trip, or they don't want to go fishing with their buddies because they don't know how to fish. They were never shown that by their father, or, they've never been hunting. The things that are, or, whatever, they've never been shown how to run a chainsaw, a power tool, And so again, they feel like a little boy in a man's body without the ability to come through. And then you get pissed off. Why didn't you show me this? Why wasn't someone there to teach me these things? And even if a father, let's say he was engaged in your sports, right? And that's how he connected. That a boy, and he was proud of you. And so you got the affirmation when you did well on the football field. Well, what happened when you didn't do well? All right. Was he still encouraging and affirming, or did he make you feel like you weren't good enough? Right. That's the first question. But the bigger deal is, so he's engaged in your sports, but did he engage with you emotionally about how to connect with the opposite sex? So that when you're growing up, and you're trying to relate to your 17-year-old daughter, or you're trying to relate to your, 35-year-old wife, how do you do that? Because you never taught me those things. And yeah, that just fear of inadequacy, fear of not measuring up, fear of not knowing what we're doing, it manifests as anger usually.